March 30th marked 6 months since I got my MacBook Pro, and in those 6 months, this computer has served me very well, especially during this time of crisis where I have to do all of my classwork remotely. I have been able to complete all of my classwork, participate in online lectures with my professors on this thing, with no issues whatsoever. And even when it comes to things that I do for fun, like video making, for example, I've made nearly every video in these past 6 months on my MacBook Pro, if you haven't noticed already. It has done its job very well when it comes to video making and even other things that I do just for fun and not anything related to college, like surfing the web or talking to friends. I really don't need a powerful machine to do the things that I'm doing on my Mac, which is kind of why I went with one. It's nice, it's simple to use. I really love the touch bar on this thing. It is very useful. I didn't think I would make use of it when I first got this thing, but I've been loving the touch bar, honestly. And overall, I think it is a very competent and good computer. And yeah, it's pricey, but if you want something, say, to use for school or just for very casual things. Again, if you don't exactly need a very powerful computer and you have the money, of course, definitely go for a MacBook Pro or a MacBook Air, any MacBook of the sort. And since this thing has served me very well, I always draw a blank when people choose to shame me or if I witness people shaming others for simply just using Mac OS. You use Mac OS? Ew, Windows is so much better, dude. Why didn't you just go with the Windows laptop? Do you really think I care about your monologue about how Windows is supposedly so much better than Mac OS, even though I already own a MacBook Pro and enjoy said MacBook Pro? Like, what do you think you're accomplishing with that? When you go up to a Mac OS user and tell them how Windows is so much better, do you expect them to just be like, oh, I guess I should just dump this computer that has served me well for an extended period of time and go with the Windows computer because you told me to, in a very abrasive and douchebaggy kind of way, but still, I will heed your advice and just dump this expensive computer I bought that I also, on top of that, enjoy, and just go with the Windows computer because you told me to. Like, of course it's not going to happen, and maybe that's not your expectation, but what exactly do you expect when you heckle a Mac OS user about how Windows is supposedly so much better? I couldn't give a fuck less about how much of a hate boner you have for Mac computers and Mac OS in general, because I personally have had a very good experience with Mac OS and my MacBook Pro. Again, like I said in the beginning of this video, I've had almost no problems with my MacBook Pro in general. Yeah, sure, there are some things about this computer that annoy me, but that's really not exclusive to Macs. Every computer has something that annoys someone, I'm sure. But overall, I've had a excellent experience with this computer, so I really don't care about how much you hate the fact that I use this, how much you hate Mac OS, Mac computers, anything of the sort. I don't fucking care. I know someone in my real life who hates Macs so much, and this video is mostly dedicated to them. Not exactly dedicated. Inspired by them because they always love to tell me how much I suck for owning a Mac, how much they're disappointed in me in owning a Mac, and yeah, sure, their hatred is, of course, largely exaggerated just for laughs, but honestly, it gets annoying after a while, and yes, he does legitimately hate Macs and Mac OS software, and can't fathom why anyone would like using Mac OS, but you know what? Tough shit. I like using Mac OS. Plenty of people out there like using Mac OS and probably prefer it over Windows. And there's not a damn thing you could say to them more than likely to sway them. And why exactly do you care so much about swaying them? It's a fucking computer operating system. It's a certain brand of computers. Why do you care so much about what kind of computer and what computer operating system one chooses to use? It is not going to kill you. It is not going to kill them. It is not going to harm anyone. So why is it a huge issue to you? And why do you feel the need to, quote unquote, convert them over to a different operating system when they clearly enjoy the operating system you don't favor? And look, if you want to have a pleasant conversation about why you don't like Mac OS or Windows or any other operating system to the person that uses the operating system that you don't like, fine, whatever, have a discussion, but Don't shame them. Don't act like an asshole over something that just doesn't matter in the slightest. Imagine taking such huge contention over something that just doesn't matter at all. Prior to this MacBook Pro, I had a terrible, terrible, terrible piece of shit, cheap HP laptop that ran Windows 8 and Windows 10. That thing constantly broke down a lot, and a lot of things about that laptop just didn't work. We had the motherboard changed at one point, and everything on the hard drive was wiped out, and even after that the computer ran like shit. But you don't see me shaming other people for using Windows OS because of my bad experience with that laptop. Now, yes, of course, it was a hardware problem and not exactly a problem with Windows, but still, I'm sure a lot of these people didn't exactly have pleasant experiences with Mac OS or the computers that ran Mac OS, and that's why they choose to shame the people who use Mac OS and the computers that run Mac OS. And if they've never used the computer that ran Mac OS, then wow, they're shaming people for using an operating system they never even tried. Such geniuses. But I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and saying that yes, they have tried Macs in the past and maybe had bad experiences with them, and instead of realizing that their bad experience may have just been exclusive to them and other people may have enjoyed the computers perfectly, they choose to shame these people and call them idiots for simply just preferring computers and an operating system that they don't like and had a personally bad experience with. Like, you don't see how stupid that is. People have their own experiences, and my experience with this MacBook Pro has been phenomenal so far. And sure, I'm sorry, yours may have been less than phenomenal. It may have been terrible for all I know. Fine, yeah, that sucks. Go ahead. Use the computers that you prefer and use the OS that you prefer. But can you not be a dick to those who choose to use Mac OS or any other operating system that you personally don't like? Because again, it's something that just doesn't matter at all, and it just makes you look like a loser, honestly. Raging and yelling at a person just for not liking a certain operating system or a certain computer that you don't like. Fucking pathetic. Anyway, stay safe, stay sanitized, stay as socially distant as much as possible. That's all I have to say. Bye-bye.